The discovery. The vast emptiness of deep space stretched before Captain Maya Chen as she stood on the bridge of the Artemis, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. Her dark eyes scanned the starfield displayed on the main viewport, searching for anything unusual among the distant points of light. Artemis had ventured farther than any human ship before, into a sector of space that hadn't seen visitors in what their scans suggested might be millennia. "Captain, I'm detecting something unusual at coordinates 327 Mark 42, announced Lieutenant Kira Okafor, her fingers dancing across the sensor panel. "It's massive." Maya moved to Kira's station, studying the readings that appeared. "Define massive, Lieutenant." "At least 3 kilometers in length, Mom. Definitely artificial. It's not moving. No energy signatures. It appears to be derelict." Dr. Eli Novak, the ship's xenoarchaeologist, had been quietly working at his station, but now looked up with undisguised excitement. A derelict vessel of that size. Out here where no one's supposed to have traveled. His voice carried the lilt of his Eastern European heritage. "Captain, we have to investigate." Chief Engineer Taro Yamamoto and Security Officer Darius Reed joined them at the sensor display, their expressions a mix of caution and curiosity. "I don't like it," Darius said, his hand instinctively moving to the pulse pistol at his hip. "Something that big sitting out here alone. It's either a trap or trouble. Or the discovery of a lifetime," Eli countered. "Just imagine what we could learn." Maya studied the preliminary scans. The vessel was unlike anything in their database. Elongated with strange, spiraling structures along its hull, dark metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. It drifted silently, oriented perpendicular to the galactic plane as if it had been placed there deliberately. "Bring us in closer, but maintain a safe distance," Maya ordered. "Full sensor sweep. I want to know everything about that ship before we make any decisions." As Artemis approached, the mystery only deepened. The alien vessel's hull was covered in intricate patterns that might have been writing or decorative elements, or perhaps both. No obvious weapons were visible, yet something about its design suggested power and purpose. "Captain, I'm detecting a faint energy signature now," Kira reported. "It's pulsing, almost like a heartbeat." "Life signs?" Maya asked. "None that I can detect. But these readings suggest the ship isn't completely dead. It's more like it's sleeping." For hours, they circled the mysterious vessel, gathering data, taking scans, and debating their next move. Finally, Maya made her decision. "We're going aboard. Dr. Novak, Chief Yamamoto, you're with me. Lieutenant Reed, assemble a security team. Lieutenant Okafor, you have the con." They prepared carefully, donning their EVA suits and arming themselves with both scientific instruments and defensive weapons. As they approached in the shuttle, the alien ship grew increasingly imposing, a dark sentinel against the backdrop of stars. "Look at the craftsmanship," Eli murmured as they approached what appeared to be an entry point. "Those patterns aren't random. They're flowing around specific points on the hull, perhaps indicating critical systems or access points." Taro nodded, his engineer's eye noting different details. "The metal itself is extraordinary. Our scans can barely penetrate it. And there's no sign of conventional propulsion systems. Whatever moved this ship through space, it wasn't anything we understand." They found what appeared to be a docking bay, its massive doors frozen partially open, just enough for their shuttle to slip through. Inside, the bay was cavernous and dark, their lights cutting through shadows that seemed almost solid. The air was thin but breathable, allowing them to remove their helmets once inside. As they explored, they found corridors lined with the same intricate patterns as the exterior, faintly luminescent, and seeming to shift subtly as they passed. Rooms branched off, filled with technology so alien they could only guess at its purpose. Strange crystalline structures ran through the walls and floors like veins, occasionally pulsing with dim light. "This is like nothing we've ever encountered," Eli said, his voice hushed with awe. The entire ship seems to be integrated somehow, as if it's a single organism rather than a constructed vessel. They discovered chambers filled with what appeared to be stasis pods, hundreds of them, all empty. Other rooms contained what might have been laboratories or workstations, but nowhere did they find any clue to the ship's crew or its purpose. "Captain," Darius called from a side corridor. "You need to see this." They followed him to what could only be the bridge, a vast circular chamber dominated by a crystalline structure that rose from the floor to the ceiling. Around it were stations that might have been control interfaces, though they bore no resemblance to human designs. "This has to be the command center," Taro said, approaching one of the stations cautiously. "But how did they control it? There are no obvious input devices." As if in response to his words, the crystals in the room pulsed once, and a soft hum filled the air. Lights flickered along the walls, and the patterns began to glow more intensely. "Nobody touch anything," Maya ordered sharply. "Something's happening." The humming grew louder, and the entire ship seemed to shudder slightly. On the walls, the patterns flowed faster, converging toward the central crystal structure, which now glowed with increasing brightness. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission." Kira's voice came through their comms. It's not human. Multiple vessels have just dropped out of FTL near our position. They're approaching fast, and they're powering up weapons." Before Maya could respond, a holographic display materialized above the crystal structure, showing the space around them. Several sleek, predatory-looking ships were indeed approaching, their designs aggressive and bristling with what were unmistakably weapon ports. "Artemis, this is Captain Chen," Maya said urgently into her comm. "Prepare for emergency departure." She was interrupted by a transmission that broadcast directly into the chamber around them. The harsh, guttural voice spoke, its words translated by their comms after a moment's delay. "Humans, you have awakened the destroyer. Abandon it immediately or be obliterated with it. You have no concept of the horror you have unleashed." The alien vessels, belonging to a species they'd never encountered before, took up attack positions around both Artemis and the ghost ship, their weapons charged, glowing with ominous energy. "We mean no harm," Maya broadcast in return. "We're explorers, not warriors. We found this vessel abandoned and are merely investigating." "That ship brought death to 100 worlds," the alien voice replied. "It is the harbinger of extinction, and you have awakened it. For this, you will share its fate." The first shots lanced out from the alien vessels, striking the ghost ship's hull. But instead of damage, the energy seemed to be absorbed by the dark metal, the patterns glowing brighter where the beams hit. Suddenly, the ship lurched, and the doors to the bridge sealed shut, trapping the away team inside. The crystal structure pulsed rapidly now, and the hum rose to a crescendo. "Artemis, get out of here," Maya ordered. "We'll find another way off. Just get clear." Through the holographic display, they watched helplessly as their ship attempted to retreat, only to be pursued by 2 of the alien vessels. The others continued their assault on the ghost ship, which was now fully awakening, systems coming online throughout its massive structure. "The ship is moving," Taro reported, studying the display. "It's changing orientation." Indeed, the massive vessel was turning slowly, its movement smooth despite its size. The aliens intensified their attack, but their weapons still seemed ineffective against the ancient hull. "Whatever this ship is," Maya said grimly, "those aliens are terrified of it. And now we're trapped aboard as it wakes up." The crystal structure flashed blindingly, and new displays appeared around the chamber, showing various systems activating throughout the ship. Strange symbols flowed across the interfaces, a language none of them recognized. "Can anyone make sense of this?" Maya asked, looking at her team. Eli stepped forward, studying the symbols intently. "I can't read it, but there's a pattern. It's repeating sequences, perhaps some kind of Buddha protocol." As they watched, unable to leave and unsure what was happening, The ghost ship continued its awakening, a vessel feared across the stars, carrying them into the unknown as the alien attackers grew increasingly desperate to destroy it before its mysterious purpose could be fulfilled. The revelation. The chamber hummed with energy as more systems activated across the ancient vessel. Captain Chen and her team watched in a mixture of awe and trepidation as holographic displays materialized around them, showing the ship's structure and the continuing assault from the alien fleet. "They're really afraid of this thing," Darius observed, watching the aliens' increasingly frantic attacks. Whatever it did to earn the name Destroyer, it must have been catastrophic. Eli had been studying the flowing symbols on the walls, recording everything with his datapad. "Captain, I think I'm starting to see patterns in this language. It's mathematical in nature, building on simple principles to express complex ideas. Can you understand any of it?" Maya asked. "Not comprehensively, but certain symbols are repeating in ways that suggest restoration, renewal. The context is unclear, but these symbols here," he pointed to a flowing sequence near the crystal structure, "they appear whenever the ship absorbs energy from the attacks." Taro had been examining what appeared to be an interface panel. "Captain, I think this might be a command station. The crystalline structure seems to respond to bioelectric fields." He hesitantly placed his hand on the smooth surface. Immediately, the crystal pulsed beneath his touch, and new displays appeared, showing detailed schematics of the ship's systems. "It's interfacing with me," Taro said, his eyes wide. "I can feel it. Not words exactly, but impressions. This ship wasn't built, it was grown. The materials are organic in origin, though modified through technology far beyond our understanding." Maya approached cautiously. "Can you learn its purpose? Why those aliens call it the Destroyer?" Taro closed his eyes, concentrating on the sensations flowing through the connection. "It's not a weapon. It's a creator. No, that's not quite right. It's a healer." Before he could elaborate, the ship shuddered as a particularly powerful blast struck its hull. The holographic display showed one of the alien vessels moving closer, deploying what appeared to be some kind of massive energy cannon. "Their weapons are getting stronger," Darius warned. "They're throwing everything they have at us." Suddenly, a new section of the bridge activated. A portion of the floor transformed, rising up to form what looked like a cultivation chamber. Inside, small crystalline structures began to grow, similar to the larger one at the center of the bridge but miniaturized. "These are seeds," Eli realized, studying them. "The ship is creating something." Taro's expression changed as more information flowed through his connection. "Captain, I understand now. This ship wasn't feared because it destroyed. It was feared because it changed. It's a terraforming vessel, designed to transform dead or dying worlds." The revelation stunned them into momentary silence. "But why would a terraforming ship be called the Destroyer?" Maya asked. "Because it doesn't just terraform," Taro continued, his voice filled with wonder. "It transforms worlds completely, reshaping them according to the parameters of its creators. To species who had claimed those worlds, who had perhaps made them uninhabitable through their own actions, this ship would appear to be destroying their homes, when in reality it was saving the planets themselves." A massive blast rocked the ship, and alarms began to sound throughout the chamber. The holographic display showed the alien flagship preparing for another, potentially catastrophic attack. "We need to communicate with them," Maya said urgently. "Make them understand what this ship really is." "I might be able to help with that," Eli said, still working with his datapad. "If I can translate enough of this language, and if the ship can broadcast." "Do it," Maya ordered. "Taro, can you access the ship's communication systems through your connection?" The engineer nodded, his eyes still closed in concentration. "I think so. The ship seems willing to help. It's almost like it's been waiting for someone to understand its purpose." As they worked frantically to establish communication, the alien flagship moved into position for what would clearly be its final devastating attack. Its weapon charge, glowing with ominous power. "Ready," Eli announced, transferring his rough translation to Taro's interface. "It's not perfect, but it should convey the basic concept." Taro integrated the translation with the ship's systems, and Maya stepped forward to speak. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Artemis. We have discovered the true nature of this ship. It is not a destroyer. It is a healer of worlds. It was designed to restore planets damaged by war, pollution, or natural disaster. Please cease your attack so we can share what we've learned." For long moments, there was no response. The alien weapon continued charging, its glow now almost blinding in the holographic display. Then, unexpectedly, the crystal structure at the center of the bridge pulsed, and the entire ship hummed with power. The holographic display expanded, showing not just the space around them, but a series of worlds, planets transformed from barren wastelands to vibrant, living ecosystems. "It's showing its history," Eli breathed. "Its mission." The display focused on one planet in particular, a world so polluted its oceans were black and its atmosphere thick with toxic clouds. The ship approached in the recording, deploying its technology. Over an accelerated time frame, they watched as the world was transformed. Waters clearing, new plant life spreading across the land, the atmosphere gradually becoming blue again. "It's broadcasting this to the alien fleet," Taro confirmed, showing them what it really does. The alien flagship's weapon powered down, though it maintained its position. After a tense minute, a transmission came through. "Humans, we have received your message and the evidence provided by the vessel." The alien voice sounded uncertain now. "Our histories speak only of the harbinger coming to our ancestor worlds and transforming them beyond recognition, making them uninhabitable for our kind. Because your ancestors had made them uninhabitable for everything else," Maya replied with sudden understanding. "This ship doesn't destroy, it restores balance. It heals worlds that have been damaged, returning them to their natural state." There was a long pause before the alien responded. "If what you say is true, then our people have misunderstood for generations. But our worlds are ours. We have the right to shape them as we see fit." "No one is disputing that," Maya said carefully. "But perhaps there's a middle ground, a way for you to develop your worlds without destroying them completely. This ship contains knowledge that could benefit all of us." Through their connection, Taro felt the ship's response, a sense of purpose and hope that had been dormant for millennia. "The ship agrees," he told Maya. "It was never meant to impose, only to heal where healing was needed. Its creators wanted to share their knowledge, not force their vision on others." Over the next hours, a cautious dialogue developed between the humans, the alien fleet, who called themselves the Vextar, and the ancient vessel itself, which they learned had been created by a species known as the Gardeners, long since vanished from the galaxy. The ship had been drifting, dormant, waiting for beings who could understand its purpose and use its capabilities responsibly. The Vextar, shaped by generations of misunderstanding, had never attempted to communicate with it, only to destroy it whenever it appeared. "Humanity has made its share of mistakes with our own world," Maya explained to the Vextar commander, who had eventually agreed to come aboard the ancient vessel. "We've damaged our environment, driven species to extinction, but we've also learned from those mistakes. We're still learning." The alien commander, a tall, ridge-backed being with iridescent scales, studied her with compound eyes. "And you believe this gardenership could help both our peoples?" "I do," Maya said firmly. "Its technology could help restore damaged worlds without displacing their current inhabitants. It could transform lifeless planets into new homes for expanding civilizations. It represents not destruction, but possibility." The massive crystal at the center of the bridge pulsed gently, as if in agreement. In the days that followed, the Artemis crew worked alongside Vextar scientists to understand more of the Gardener vessel's systems and purpose. They discovered that it contained the genetic material of countless plant and animal species from across the galaxy, a biological archive of unimaginable value. "It's not just a terraforming ship, Eli explained during one of their briefings. It's a seed bank for entire ecosystems, designed to preserve biodiversity even as worlds changed naturally or through the actions of intelligent species. The Vextar, learning the truth about the ship their people had feared for generations, were forced to confront uncomfortable questions about their own history. Their ancestors had exploited their worlds to the point of collapse, and when the Gardener ship arrived to heal the damage, they had seen it as an attack on their way of life. Your people have a unique perspective, the Vextar commander told Maya as they stood on the bridge, watching the stars. You see possibilities where we saw only threats. You questioned where we assumed. Perhaps this is why the ship responded to you. Maya smiled. Human history is full of misunderstandings and conflicts born from fear of the unknown. We're still learning to look deeper, to question our first impressions. If we've helped bridge this particular gap, I'm glad. As the Gardener ship's systems continued to reactivate under their careful study, it became clear that they had discovered not a weapon of mass destruction, but a tool of tremendous potential, a legacy from a species that had cared enough about the future to create a means of ensuring life would continue to thrive across the galaxy. They weren't destroying worlds, Taro said, his hand resting lightly on the crystal interface that had become a bridge between species separated by time and space. They were making sure there would always be worlds to discover. The ship that had been feared as a warrior had revealed its true purpose at last, not an agent of destruction, but a guardian of life itself. And humanity, with its curiosity and willingness to look beyond appearances, had helped uncover the truth that had been hidden in plain sight for millennia. As the Artemis prepared to return to Earth with news of their monumental discovery, Maya knew that they were bringing back more than just knowledge of an advanced alien technology. They were bringing a new understanding of their place in the galaxy, as explorers, as mediators, and as students of the countless wonders still waiting to be discovered among the stars. The Gardener ship, once known as the Destroyer, now sailed alongside them, no longer a ghost from the past, but a bridge to the future.